the Instagram stories for Wednesday, May 24th. I'm your host, Daniel Hill. Today's episode is all about Artifact. If you are not familiar, Artifact is a personalized news reader app. It's not just for news, it's showing you content based on AI. It's been called TikTok for text, but the reason that I'm talking about this app is that the people who made it, Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger, are the same two who started Instagram. And I think it's important to recognize where they're going in their journey and how that will affect the social landscape going forward. Here's just a little bit of background in case you are unfamiliar. Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger created Instagram and then in 2012 sold Instagram to Facebook for $1 billion in cash and stock. Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger stayed on at Instagram until 2018, at which point they left to pursue other ventures. They did not do a huge amount since then. I will say that they did work on a COVID tracker back in 2020, but apart from that, not much to affect the social landscape. I think this app is important to talk about because if two people working together were able to create an app that changed the cultural landscape of our society, basically, they are poised to potentially do that again. Is this the app that's going to change how we look at news? I'm not sure I'm ready to say that, but back in 2012, I'm not sure that I would have said Instagram is going to fundamentally change how we get information, follow celebrities, get news, and a bunch of other things. So it remains to be seen how this will all play out. I do want to cover a few features that the Artifact app has added lately, and then I'm going to talk about an interview that Kevin Systrom did with Vox News. First, let's talk about the new features that Artifact added. You now have the ability to follow a specific writer. For instance, I'm a big fan of Taylor Lorenz, who writes for the Washington Post. I've covered her articles on this show multiple times, and I really like her writing. I have now followed her on the Artifact app, so I will be notified when she posts a new article. Additionally, the Artifact team posted today that they've added the ability to react to an article, share articles as images, and mark articles as clickbait. So they are slowly adding new features. Recently, Kevin Systrom gave an interview to Vox Media. I was really hoping that I could find an audio of this interview, but apparently there's an only text article from the interview. So I'm going to have to read some of the questions and answers to you, but I think it is very telling about the social media landscape. I'm going to dive right into that after the break, so stick around.
This episode is brought to you by Michigan Economic Development Corporation. In Michigan, you can have both a rewarding career and a quality lifestyle, with plentiful career opportunities in world-changing, innovating industries, from electric vehicles to clean energy to biotech, with room for advancement no matter where you are in your career. Plus, Michigan offers a welcoming, beautiful, affordable, and inclusive community for all. Live your best life. You can in Michigan. Visit themichiganlife.org.
And we're back. Just as a reminder, we're talking about the app Artifact, which comes from the creators of Instagram, Kevin Systrom and Mike Krieger. There's a long interview from Vox that I'm going to get into momentarily, but I want to share my favorite part of this interview, where they ask Kevin Systrom about the lessons that he's learned from the success of Instagram. And interestingly, he parallels where he was at the time of Instagram to where he is now in the Artifact app. He says in this interview, at this stage, we were 13 employees when we were acquired by Facebook, and we're 7 now at Artifact. So we're in the stage where we are so early that most of the lessons I learned going through Instagram aren't applicable yet. I'm just going to pause right there and say, in understanding the context of time and knowing how much Instagram accomplished with just 13 employees when they were bought by Facebook, this shows what is potentially possible for this Artifact app with just 7 employees. Now, I'm not saying Twitter is going to buy them tomorrow or Meta is going to buy them tomorrow or anything like that, but in terms of understanding the experience that these two have in what they are building, it really says a lot. The interviewer asks the question, Artifact has been described as like a TikTok for news, or maybe you would say for articles. How is it TikTok-like with regard to recommending content based on using artificial intelligence? He answers, there are two things. One is you try to model people's interests. You try to figure out what someone is interested in. They're interested in space exploration, cryptocurrencies, a specific type of Android. That allows you to narrow down the enormous corpus of data that we get every day to a subset of articles that may or may not be relevant to that person. But then you have the problem of saying, well, okay, we know these are relevant, but are they good? And what's cool about this? I think similar to TikTok is just keeping track of whether or not someone else has engaged with that article in the past allows you to very quickly come to a conclusion of whether or not something is engaging or not. I'm going to stop there because I don't really like reading this article. I was really hoping to find the audio of it and I just can't. But I will link to it in the show notes. It is definitely worth reading, and I really think you should be keeping an eye on Artifact and where this is going. That is going to do it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening, and be sure to come back tomorrow for more tech news or social media news or strategy or something else that I think is important for you to know.
Instagram news got you covered, sometimes even TikTok. Relevant platforms in the metaverse ahead of the wave, without a break or a pit stop. Still waiting for Zuckerberg to give me the big job. Pause. Use trademarks and logos with Insta's permission, of course. If you like the show and you gain some good info, maybe leave a review. It's a type of applause. Just drop me a message if you want to collab. If you got some good content or you want to run ads, at Daniel Hill Media is where I am. TikTok, Facebook and Instagram.